Love and friendship are often thought to be deeply intertwined with physical presence, the warmth of a hug, the comfort of a familiar voice, or the reassurance of a gentle touch. However, human relationships are not solely built on physical proximity. Emotional bonds, when strong enough, can transcend distance, creating an invisible connection that keeps two hearts intertwined despite being miles apart. This phenomenon is not just poetic, it is rooted in psychology, neuroscience, and the intricate ways in which human emotions work. People often report feeling close to their loved ones, even when separated for long periods. Many couples in long-distance relationships speak about experiencing a deep emotional connection, sensing when the other is sad, happy, or in need of support, despite not being in the same physical space. Similarly, close friends or family members sometimes claim to instinctively know when something is wrong with their loved ones, even before receiving any information. This sense of connection is not mere coincidence. It stems from the deep, psychological imprint left by meaningful relationships. One of the key reasons behind this phenomenon is the way the human brain processes and stores emotional experiences. Every interaction with someone we care about strengthens neural pathways associated with that person. Over time, these connections become deeply embedded, allowing us to carry the presence of loved ones within our minds. This explains why simply thinking about someone we miss can evoke a rush of emotions as if they were right beside us. The brain does not always distinguish between memory and reality when it comes to emotional experiences, which is why remembering a significant moment with someone can trigger the same feelings as reliving it in real time. Moreover, psychological theories suggest that attachment plays a crucial role in maintaining emotional closeness. According to attachment theory, humans form deep emotional bonds with those they love, creating a sense of security and belonging. These bonds persist regardless of physical distance because the attachment system remains active, influencing thoughts, emotions, and even physiological responses. For example, studies have shown that thinking about a loved one can trigger the release of oxytocin, often called the bonding hormone, which enhances feelings of closeness and emotional connection. Another fascinating aspect of emotional connection, beyond physical presence, is the role of subconscious synchronization. Research has found that people in close relationships often experience similar emotional states, even when apart. This phenomenon, known as emotional contagion, suggests that emotions can be transferred through shared experiences, memories, and deep psychological ties. This may explain why people in long-term relationships often finish each other's sentences or anticipate each other's needs without verbal communication. Ultimately, the idea that two hearts can remain connected despite distance is more than just a romanticized notion. It is backed by the way human emotions, memories, and neural connections function, whether through the power of memory, the strength of attachment, or the subconscious synchronization of emotions. The bonds we form with others continue to shape our thoughts and feelings, proving that true connection transcends physical presence. The deep emotional bonds that connect two people, even when separated by distance, are not just a matter of sentimentality or wishful thinking. They have a strong foundation in psychology and neuroscience, revealing how the human brain and emotions work together to maintain connections beyond physical presence. Scientific studies have shown that the way we form relationships, process emotions, and store memories plays a crucial role in keeping people linked, regardless of how far apart they are. One of the most compelling explanations for this invisible connection lies in how the brain encodes and retrieves emotional experiences. When we form strong relationships with others, our brain creates and strengthens neural pathways associated with those individuals. Every conversation, shared moment, or expression of affection leaves an imprint in our memory networks, particularly in regions like the hippocampus, responsible for memory, and the amygdala, which processes emotions. This means that even when someone is physically absent, our brain continues to activate these pathways, making them feel psychologically present in our lives. Furthermore, neuroimaging studies have shown that thinking about a loved one activates the same brain regions involved in actual social interactions. For example, When people in long-distance relationships see photos of their partners or think about them deeply, their brain reacts as if they were physically close. This suggests that the mind does not always differentiate between real life interactions and mental representations, reinforcing the idea that emotional presence is as powerful as physical presence in some cases. Another crucial factor in the science of emotional bonds is the role of hormones, particularly oxytocin. Often referred to as the bonding hormone or love hormone, oxytocin is released during moments of intimacy, such as hugging, kissing, or even engaging in deep conversations. However, studies have found that oxytocin can also be triggered simply by thinking about or reminiscing about someone we love. This hormonal response helps explain why recalling special memories or exchanging heartfelt messages can create a sense of closeness, even when miles apart. Additionally, psychological theories on attachment provide further insight into how emotional connections remain strong despite distance. Attachment theory, developed by psychologist John Bowlby, suggests that human beings form deep, enduring bonds with significant others, starting from early childhood. These attachments create an internal, secure base that provides comfort and stability, even in times of separation. This means that when two people share a strong emotional connection, they carry a mental representation of each other that continues to influence their thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, regardless of physical proximity. Beyond individual psychology, studies on social and emotional synchronization reveal another fascinating aspect of long-distance bonds. Researchers have discovered that people in close relationships often experience synchronized emotions and even physiological responses, such as similar heart rate patterns or emotional states despite being apart. This phenomenon, known as emotional contagion, suggests that our brains and bodies remain attuned to those we care about, reinforcing the invisible link between two hearts. One of the most fascinating aspects of human relationships is the ability to feel connected to someone without direct communication. Many people have experienced moments where they suddenly think of a loved one, only to receive a message or call from them shortly after. Others report feeling a sense of unease or sadness, later discovering that the person they are emotionally close to was experiencing a difficult moment at the exact same time. These occurrences might seem like coincidences, but psychology and neuroscience suggest that they are linked to emotional intuition and synchronicity, an invisible force that connects two people beyond physical presence. Emotional intuition refers to an individual's ability to sense the emotions or well-being of someone they care about, even in the absence of any direct cues. This phenomenon is particularly strong in close relationships, where deep emotional bonds have formed over time. One possible explanation lies in the subconscious mind, which processes vast amounts of information without our conscious awareness. When two people share a long history of interactions, their brains become attuned to each other's behavioral patterns, emotional states, and subtle changes in mood. This creates an intuitive connection, allowing one person to sense what the other might be feeling, even from a distance. Another factor contributing to this invisible connection is mirror neurons. These specialized brain cells are responsible for empathy and help us understand and replicate the emotions of others. Studies suggest that when people spend significant time together, their mirror neuron systems become more synchronized, leading to a heightened ability to perceive and mirror the emotions of their loved ones. Even when apart, the brain can activate these neurons based on memories or subconscious associations, reinforcing the feeling of closeness and intuitive awareness of the other person's emotional state. Synchronicity, a concept introduced by psychologist Carl Jung, offers another perspective on these mysterious emotional connections. Jung defined synchronicity as meaningful coincidences that occur without a direct causal link but hold deep personal significance. Many people in strong emotional relationships report experiencing these moments of alignment, where thoughts, emotions, or events seem to connect in inexplicable ways. For example, one person might suddenly feel compelled to check on a friend, only to find out they were struggling at that exact moment. While science has yet to fully explain synchronicity, Some theories suggest it could be related to the subconscious mind, detecting subtle cues or patterns that go unnoticed by conscious awareness. Interestingly, research has also explored the connection between heart rate variability and emotional bonds. Studies have shown that couples or close friends who share a strong emotional connection sometimes experience synchronized heart rates or breathing patterns, even when they are not in the same location. This suggests that emotional states may be transmitted through subtle physiological processes, further reinforcing the idea of an invisible link between two people. Ultimately, emotional intuition and synchronicity highlight the profound ways in which human connections transcend physical distance. Whether through subconscious awareness, mirror neuron, the sense of connection between two people, even when they are miles apart, is deeply rooted in the psychology of attachment. Attachment theory, first introduced by psychologist John Bowlby, explains how humans form emotional bonds that provide a sense of security and stability throughout life. These bonds are not dependent on physical proximity. Rather, they exist in the mind as internal representations of our loved ones. This means that once a strong emotional connection is established, it continues to influence thoughts, emotions, and behaviors, regardless of distance. Attachment develops early in life through close relationships with caregivers, but it extends into adulthood and plays a crucial role in romantic relationships, friendships, and even professional connections. Secure attachment creates a psychological foundation in which people feel emotionally connected to others, even when they are not physically present. This is why individuals in healthy relationships can maintain a sense of closeness despite long periods of separation. Their internalized bond with the other person provides comfort, reassurance, and a feeling of emotional presence, even without direct communication. One of the key mechanisms that explain this phenomenon is the concept of the internal working model. This psychological framework refers to the way individuals mentally represent their relationships and attachments. When people develop strong, emotional bonds, they create an internal map of the relationship, allowing them to feel emotionally close to the other person even when apart. For example, when someone recalls the voice, laughter, or advice of a loved one, their brain activates similar neural pathways as it would during an actual interaction, reinforcing the feeling of presence and connection. Additionally, emotional regulation plays a significant role in maintaining attachment bonds over distance. Securely attached individuals are better able to manage feelings of separation because they trust in the stability of their relationships. This trust reduces anxiety and fosters resilience, allowing people to feel connected without constant reassurance. In contrast, those with anxious attachment styles may struggle more with distance, experiencing heightened worries about the relationship. However, developing a secure attachment mindset through trust, communication, and emotional stability can help strengthen bonds and reinforce the idea that true connections do not fade with distance. Neuroscience further supports the idea of permanent emotional closeness through the release of oxytocin, the bonding hormone. While oxytocin is often associated with physical touch, such as hugs or hand-holding, studies suggest that it can also be released through positive thoughts, memories, and meaningful conversations. This means that simply thinking about a loved one, reminiscing about a shared experience, or engaging in heartfelt communication can trigger biochemical responses that reinforce emotional closeness. Ultimately, the psychology of attachment explains why two hearts can remain connected even when separated by distance. Through internal working models, emotional regulation, and neurochemical processes, strong relationships maintain a sense of presence that goes beyond physical space. The invisible thread that links two. While science and psychology explain how emotional bonds persist over distance, maintaining and strengthening these connections requires conscious effort. Relationships, whether romantic, familial, or friendships, thrive on communication, shared experiences, and emotional presence. Even in an era where technology allows for constant interaction, true connection is not just about frequency, but about depth and meaning. Strengthening an emotional bond from afar involves intentional practices that reinforce the sense of closeness and emotional security, despite physical separation. One of the most important ways to nurture a distant relationship is through meaningful communication. While casual check-ins and daily updates are helpful, deep and intentional conversations create a stronger sense of connection. Sharing personal thoughts, emotions, and future aspirations fosters intimacy, making both individuals feel valued and understood. Studies show that people in long-distance relationships or friendships who engage in deep, vulnerable conversations report higher levels of emotional satisfaction than those who only communicate superficially. Additionally, rituals of connection can reinforce emotional closeness. These can be simple habits like sending a good morning message every day, having a weekly video call, or watching the same movie while texting about it. Rituals create a sense of predictability and emotional consistency, which strengthens attachment and trust. Even when life gets busy, having small traditions provides reassurance that the connection remains intact. Another crucial aspect of maintaining a strong bond from a distance is the power of shared experiences. While physical presence may not always be possible, technology enables people to create new memories together despite the miles. Playing online games, reading the same book, or even cooking the same meal at the same time can foster a feeling of togetherness. Studies suggest that engaging in shared activities, even virtually, strengthens emotional ties by creating common points of reference that enhance relational depth. Expressing appreciation and affection is another powerful tool for strengthening bonds. Small gestures such as writing a heartfelt letter, sending a surprise gift, or simply expressing gratitude can have a profound emotional impact. Research in positive psychology highlights that expressing appreciation not only strengthens relationships but also boosts overall well-being. In long-distance relationships, where physical affection is limited, verbal affirmations and thoughtful gestures help bridge the gap and reinforce emotional security. Moreover, visual and sensory reminders play a significant role in keeping emotional connections alive. Studies have shown that looking at photos of loved ones can activate the same neural responses as being with them in person. Keeping a physical reminder, such as a handwritten note, a piece of clothing, or a shared playlist, can help maintain a sense of closeness. These reminders reinforce the brain's internal representation of the relationship, making emotional presence feel stronger, even when apart. Ultimately, true connection transcends physical distance when both individuals actively invest in the